Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Todd Chrisley dropping his appeal in defamation lawsuit. Todd Chrisley has gone through several legal troubles over the past year. It has gotten to the point where he has finally relented on one of the lawsuits he was involved in. Chrysley has reportedly dropped an appeal he had filed in a defamation lawsuit. Here is what you need to know about the lawsuit Chrysley dropped and what it means. Todd Chrisley drops defamation lawsuit appeal. During the initial investigation, Todd Chrisley attacked Department of Revenue investigator Amy Doherty Hines on social media and said the investigation was illegal and improperly motivated. Doherty Hines sued Chrysley for defamation. Like with most of his legal problems, Todd lost this lawsuit. In April, the federal judge found Chrysley guilty of 1 count of libel and 1 count of slander. The jury awarded Doherty Hines compensatory damages of $350,000 plus punitive damages of $170,000 and attorney's fees, totaling about $755,000 in overall damages. Chrysley appealed the decision. However, he has since voluntarily dropped the appeal via WSB TV2. The dropping of the appeal is pursuant to the joint stipulation of the parties to dismiss. While Todd has dropped his appeal against the Doherty Hines decision, Todd and Julie Chrysley are still appealing their conviction in the bank fraud and tax evasion case. Todd and Julie Chrysley lose even more money. Todd and Julie Chrysley also just lost a $30,000 trust held in Alabama. A federal judge ordered that they turn over that money to help pay the $17 million judgment following their guilty verdict. The judge said the couple could respond to the order, but when they didn't, he ordered the money to be turned over by the law firm. The Chrysleys were found guilty of committing tax evasion and defrauding banks out of over $30 million in loans. Julie was also found guilty of obstruction of justice and wire fraud. They were sentenced to 12 years, Todd, and 7 years, Julie, in prison. Todd is set to be released on November 23, 2032, and Julie on August 20, 2028. This is 2 years early for Todd and 14 months earlier for Julie. The Chrysleys said that an Internal Revenue Service officer lied on the witness stand about how much money the defendants owed the IRS at the time of their trial. However, the federal judge refused to hold a hearing on those allegations. The couple's attorney said they didn't owe any money to the IRS at the time of the trial, but the revenue officer was told to lie on the stand. U.S. Assistant Attorney Annalise Peters said that whether or not any taxes were owed at the time of the trial was immaterial to any element to any charge in this case, via AOL.com. In a move that has both surprised and intrigued fans and legal experts alike, Todd Chrisley has officially dropped his appeal in the ongoing defamation lawsuit that has hovered over his family's legacy like a storm cloud. But don't mistake this decision for surrender. According to sources close to the Chrysley Knows Best patriarch, Todd's latest legal pivot isn't a sign of defeat. It's the beginning of a much louder, more strategic chapter. The bombshell move. The appeal, which stemmed from Todd's original defamation suit against a former Georgia Department of Revenue employee and a handful of tabloid outlets, had been inching its way through the court system for months. Todd had alleged that false and damaging information had been leaked to the press to smear his name and ignite the criminal case that eventually led to his conviction for bank fraud and tax evasion. But now, with the stroke of a pen and a sealed court filing, Todd has pulled back. At first glance, it looks like he's giving up. But those close to the Chrysley camp say this is part of a calculated move, and a deeply personal one. He's not dropping the appeal because he lost faith, said a family insider. He's dropping it because he wants to fight a different kind of battle now. One where he's not just defending his name in courtrooms, but rebuilding his family's future in the public eye. Behind bars, but not broken, currently serving time at FPC Pensacola, Todd Chrisley has remained an enigmatic and, frankly, vocal figure from prison. Regular statements released through his children, particularly Savannah Chrysley, who has become something of a family spokeswoman, reveal a man who remains sharp, combative, and unrelenting in his belief that he was wronged. In his latest message, read aloud on Savannah's Unlocked podcast, Todd didn't mince words. "This isn't me rolling over. This is me standing up. I've spent too much time fighting a lie with the truth. Now I'm fighting it with action." There's more than one way statement only Todd Chrisley could deliver. Part preacher, part showman, and entirely determined. Rewriting the narrative for months, the Chrysleys have been teasing a documentary project. One that promises to unveil the alleged corruption, mishandling of evidence, and political targeting that they believe led to Todd and Julie's incarceration. Dropping the appeal may, in fact, clear the path for this narrative to be built not in a courtroom, but in the court of public opinion. "He's done letting judges and lawyers control the storyline," said a source connected to the production. "He wants the world to see what was done to him, in his own words, in his own voice." The docuseries, tentatively titled Southern Injustice, is said to feature exclusive prison interviews, never-before-seen footage from the family's archives, and interviews with legal experts who've taken a second look at the Chrysleys' case. With Todd's defamation appeal no longer tying him to the slow-moving legal system, he's free to focus on this project, something his family believes may ultimately carry more weight than any court ruling ever could. A message to his critics. Naturally, critics were quick to jump on the news, suggesting that Todd dropped the appeal because it had no legs. But his inner circle insists that isn't the case. He had strong legal grounds, said a longtime family attorney who asked to remain anonymous. But when you're behind bars, the timeline of justice doesn't always match the timeline of healing. This was about redirecting his energy, and let's be honest, Todd's always been better at telling his story than letting others tell it for him. It's a subtle jab, but one that cuts to the core of the Chrysleys' experience. The family believes they were tried in the media long before they ever saw the inside of a courtroom. And now, Todd is reclaiming the microphone. Julie weighs in. Julie Chrysley, currently incarcerated at Federal Medical Center Lexington, also weighed in with a rare public comment passed through her attorney. "Todd has never been a quitter. This isn't the end of the fight. It's just a shift in the strategy," her statement read. "We have faith. We have truth. And most importantly, we have each other." The Chrysley matriarch, often seen as the calmer counterpart to Todd's firebrand personality, continues to support her husband's efforts from afar. According to sources, Julie is even contributing her own written journal entries to the family's upcoming documentary project. What's next? The Chrysleys aren't just banking on a docuseries. Rumors are swirling that Todd is working on a memoir from prison, one that promises to be scathing, emotional, and unfiltered. The working title? Uncivilized Justice: My Side of the Chrysley Story. And while the appeal may be off the table, there's still potential for new civil litigation. Legal experts say Todd could refile a different kind of claim later, one more narrowly focused or centered around new evidence. For now, though, the Chrysleys are putting their energy into reshaping how the world sees them. A family united. While Todd and Julie serve their sentences, their children continue to maintain a united front. Savannah, Chase, Grayson, and even Nanny Faye have remained active on social media, keeping fans updated and fiercely defending their loved ones. In a recent Instagram Live, Savannah addressed the dropped appeal directly. "Some people are going to say we gave up, but you can't give up something that was rigged from the start. My dad is done playing their game. Now it's our turn." Final thoughts. Todd Chrisley dropping his defamation appeal isn't the end of the story. It's merely a dramatic intermission. He may have stepped out of the courtroom, but he's stepping right into the spotlight once again on his own terms. And if Todd has proven anything over the years, it's that he doesn't go quietly. He goes loud, he goes bold, and he goes Southern strong. Whether it's through a tell-all book, a bombshell docuseries, or just the next searing soundbite from prison, Todd Chrisley has made it clear his fight isn't over.